YouTube? This your boy Down Low back for another industry topic. Folks, let's talk about some odd shit. These guys, Alfred Green and Raheem Pope, recently got arrested for stealing about $900 worth of books out of a Barnes & Noble in Connecticut. Now, what's kind of funny about this whole thing is they tried to hide the books in a Jaguar, and then when the cops found the Jaguar, they claimed that they didn't own the Jaguar, and then somebody snitched and said that the key to the Jaguar is in Pope's ass. And sure enough, when they scanned him, it was this. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because these two guys were planning, and probably still are planning, on doing a musical about the life of the Notorious B.I.G., in which the estate of Biggie came out to say that they are unauthorized, we do not deal with these people, we sent out cease and desist letters, and they still doing the bullshit. And this shit is fucking crazy, man. The lengths that people will go to capitalize off of another person's name that they have no right to claim. I mean, they actually did casting calls and shit for this musical. And then they go out and do some senseless crime shit. Be careful with your rights to your name. But anyway, Kanye West signed a deal with CAA. If you don't know who CAA is, that is one of the biggest agencies in Hollywood. Like, they deal with top-notch actors. Then they deal with top-notch athletes. And they deal with the top-notch musicians. Now, and I'm not trying to come off like Kanye West never had a deal with a major agency or anything like that. Nah, of course he had. But a lot of people do not understand what exactly agencies do. Now, what these agencies typically do is they handle the major tours, not the record labels. Now, you gotta understand what the record labels are. Record labels are just the bank. What does the bank have? Money, connection. Record labels' connections to agencies basically pull off tours. Record labels' connection to manufacturing plants basically put out albums. And the money that these record labels have ensure that everything goes smooth. That's how the game works. Next, BG. Going to jail for 14 years for possession of a firearm, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and more charges that they put on him, in which BG pled guilty for this shit a little minute ago. And BG came out and said that he was happy with the decision in which the judge then laid down on him to only give him 14 years, meaning they had his ass. They probably wanted to send him away for like 30 years or some shit. And as I've said before, it's tough out here, man, for rappers that did not plan for the post-career. Because it's a fucking shame, man. All of the millions of records that BG sold, he's going to jail for this bullshit. Gotta keep in mind, once you get into the music industry, man, you can't go back to the streets. You've got to figure out a way to make a living because your life has changed completely. And lastly, Rick Ross is getting sued for $2 million from a United Kingdom promotional company over his canceled show that he had back in 2011. The show was in Africa, in which he canceled it. This was around the time that he was having his seizures and shit, but he did not cancel this show due to the seizures. Now, Rick Ross canceled it because of recent violent events that was going on in Africa, or so he said. But yet he never paid back the $90K deposit. And the promotional company claims that they tried to renegotiate with him to do other shows to make up for their losses. But Rick Ross wasn't trying to communicate with them. And you know, typically I'm on the artist's side when it comes to dealing with promotional company. But this just sounds like Rick Ross on some ignorant shit, in which this is what he does. Like, come on, dude. If you're afraid of Africa, don't accept the money to perform there. If you're really afraid of these so-called violent events that's going on in Africa, pay the money back. See, a lot of people here in America don't realize that it's not as horrible in Africa as the news media makes it seem to be. And yes, there is violence out there, just like there's violence here in America. I mean, like, for real, man, no one put a gun to your damn head and said, take this fucking money. As a rapper, you have a fucking choice to say yes or no to whatever's coming your way. If you do not feel comfortable about a performance or a city that you have to go to, that your label or managers are pushing for you to go and perform at, you can fucking say no. But anyway, this was another industry topic.